Hello everyone, Penny here from That's Just Penny and the Junk Journal Ministry. Today I am slowly finishing what we started, journaling with plants in March. It's been a long time since I've been on here, but a lot of things happened and things like that. Life kind of gets in the way. With creating and getting everything together, But let's continue with journaling with plants. And this is what the preview image looks like. There is a full class that will be updated as I create the videos, but there is a full class that is available. Check out all the links down below. Today we're going to be needing your guide. And if you have downloaded the guide and downloaded journaling with plants and things like that, then you will have these sheets, right? I'm going to be using the guide from Journaling with Plants. I'm going to be using all of the things that we have made, all of the elements and the papers that we have made for Journaling with Plants. This is how to make the junk journal part of junk journal, aka journal, however you want to call it. You can even do a binder if you want. But this is the guide that's going to help us make a junk journal. This is the journal page. This is the cover, figuring out the cover in the pages. And then this is the foot view of what we're going to design our pages, okay? It's a little guide to help you get started. I like to do these, even if you're new or a beginner or advanced junk journaler or a journal creator. It's good to have a plan and to put your vision. And sometimes you just roll with it. Sometimes I will mix things up and I will add things and remove things. But that's just what it's all about. These are part of the Junk Journal Playbook and Workbook. And so this is part of them. And I created these templates and the design layouts a long, long time ago. I will share my design template with you all when I am done. I'll share it in a photo for you guys. But this just helps you to visualize what you're going to create, what spine you're going to use. And yes, there are tons of other spines out there. There's rings, there's all kinds of things. So you can decide what type of journal and spine that you want to do. If you want to do hidden spine, accordion spine, the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, or any type of stitching, the Copic stitch, whatever spine that you're interested in creating. I want to add more to these because there's all kinds of different other kind of spines that you can add. Let's see. The elastic, wraparound elastic, like the dory style. I mean, there's just tons and tons of different types of spines out there. So, but I am going to update this chart to show that, right? This workbook. So this is part of our junk journal workbook that goes along with the playbook, right? There's always a playbook, and there are images and templates in here for you to use. So let's get started. So I know that I'm going to be using the vanilla cardstock. I'm going to double it up. So that means I'm going to need 2 folders, and I'm going to glue those together. And then I'm going to cut them to the desired length that I want. So I want my journal, the inside pages, to be 5 by 8. Okay, so my pages are going to be 5 by 8, right? So I want my cover to be just a little bit bigger because you want this side to be a 5 by 8 and this side to be a 5 by 8. But this is the cover, so we're really going to need it. You could do 5 1/4, you could do 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 or 8 1/4. It just depends on how well you like your journals. If you like to hang lace over your journal edges, page edges, things like that. So if I want a 5 by 8 insert inside this cover, then I really need to have at least a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 each one of these. So this would be 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Okay, that's what both of these would be. I hope that makes sense. Okay, but now the center, you're going to, for the spine, you can choose 1 inch. 1 inch is good for like 2 signatures or 1 small signature. I like to do a 2-inch. I don't have my ruler, but this is normally 1 inch. So, like, the first joint of your finger, well, my finger, is 1 inch. Okay, so I could put one good signature in there, right? Just one good one. If I did 2 inch, I probably could do two good signatures, small signatures. If I did 3 inch, then I could do, 3 or 4 signatures. It just depends on how well you like your stuffed. Okay? So with my spine, for demonstration purposes and time purposes, mine is going to be a 1 inch spine. I'm going to do one big, beautiful signature with 8 pages, and those are 8 base pages. Okay, so I'm going to have, and you can cut. You need to cut these separately, and there's a reason. You can do the method that I'm going to show you where you don't have to cut these separately, because a lot of journals, if you don't put the space in between the cover and the spine, there's supposed to be a gap right here on both sides, right? If you don't have that gap of emptiness, then your journal is going to have alligator mouth. So you want to make sure you have enough gap in there, have enough spine width for your signature, okay? So with the vanilla folders, if you notice, a lot of times what I will do is they have these lines, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. I'll make one more line, and then this will be my spine of my journal. I hope that makes sense, because this is about 1 inch, right? If I fold this up, I'm sorry if I crease this. My words are all messed up today, so I apologize. If I crease this, sorry. It's already scored for us, right? But if you notice, that turns into 1 inch spine, right? But what I need to do is, I need to come in here, score 1/4 inch this way and 1/4 inch on the back, in order for the cover to have the movement that I need, where it won't be alligator mouth. I hope that makes sense. So you want to leave just a little bit, score it again on both sides, to leave that hinge that you need, right? I hope that makes total sense. But these make wonderful already spines. You just need to add, let me get a pencil so I can show you. And of course it doesn't work. Well, I'm going to cover it up anyway. So you're just going to score another line on both sides. So you're just going to use this vanilla folder just like it is. But you're going to have 1, 2, 3, well actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 score lines when you're done. And that will give you a really good spine, right? And I'll show you what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to add that little note in. You need to have that hinge working so that you do not have the alligator mouth. And if you stuff your journal, your signature too much, you will still have the alligator mouth. So let's get back to our cover. So we figured out what we're going to use for our cover. Now let's figure out what we know we're going to do this spine. So these are eliminated. But do I want to do a 6-hole pamphlet stitch? Do I want to do the Dory style, where it's just the top and bottom, just 1 or 2 holes? Do I want to do more? Do I want to do a design in the spine? Do I want to cut the spine out? In, like, for instance, if I wanted to put a hole in the spine to where that I could see the signatures, open spine they call it, then, I would need to cut this part out of the spine once it's done, once before I put the paper on. Leave a little bit on each side, and then I can put 1 hole here and 1 hole here. Does that make sense? So we're designing the spine. With this one, because it is timed and I'm only doing 1, I'm only going to be doing the 3-hole pamphlet stitch on this journal. This is what I'm going to be doing. So it is listed over here. So I'm going to circle back. Okay. So here I'm just going to write vanilla folders. And that way I know that my spine will be taken care of, but I will have to add the 2 additional score lines. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Alright, so right now we're just talking about the cover. We're going to get into the pages. These are the pages down here. We're going to get into the pages later. Okay, so this is just the cover that we're talking about today. We're just building our cover. Does that make sense? So we'll be talking in another video about our pages. Alright, and getting the signatures together. Now, if you would rather do the pages first and then the cover, then you can check out the next video before you do your cover. So let's begin. So I told you about how I'm going to have to do 2 more score lines, okay, in order for the hinge to work nice. I'm going to leave this like this, right, because this is about 1 inch, right? The vanilla file folder is going to use what's already there, but I'm just going to score 2 more score marks. So now we have our score marks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 score marks. I'm going to cut this second vanilla folder and glue it down here, but I'm going to cut the spine out because I want those hinges inside. I hope that makes sense. Here I am just cutting that second file folder apart, the spine first and the 2 sides, and I'm just gluing it down to the first file folder. Here I begin to measure my cover because I want a 5x8 journal. So I need my cover to be just a little bit bigger. So 5 1/4 by 8 1/4. But I am measuring from the last score mark on each side of the spine. I'm not measuring, in the center. I'm measuring from that last score mark where I put in the 2 additional score marks. Now that I have everything marked off and measured on both sides, I need a 5 1/4 by 8 1/4 cover. The extra that I cut off, I'm going to be using that as another journal. So I have 2 journals out of 2 file folders. Here I am taking my ruler and I've decided to use this flap and not cut it off. I'm going to use it as a wrap closure for my journal. So I'm going to need to score 2 more lines. So I have the 1 line and then I need to score another 1/4, right? So that I can have a spine, but then I'm going to score another 1/4 just to have a spine to make sure that my signatures fit into what I'm going to wrap over the edge. So this is my flap that I'm going to wrap over the edge of my cover. Now with this side, which is going to be the front side, I have decided to use this as a tuck. So I'm going to score it and make sure that I'm on that line that I needed, the 8 1/4 for the cover. So I'm just going to fold this over. I'm going to score it, and then I'm going to use my ruler to fold over. It doesn't need a spine. It does need a little leeway, and the width of the ruler is perfect for that. So I'm just going to use my scorer tool, just to kind of mesh it down. My bone folder seems to be missing, so I'm just going to use what I got in my hand just to kind of crease it. And then I'm coming over here to making sure that my spine looks nice. And I'll show you there, where the I scored the 2 extra little widths. So that's 2/4 is what I did to make a spine there. I'm just making sure how that it all lines up, that it is straight, and this is what it's going to look like when I, for the base part of the cover. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to have a wrap over edge. Now the first flap is going to be a tuck, so I will eventually glue that down just at the top and bottom edges. So now I'm going to refer to the worksheets, which is the part of the Junk Journal playbook and workbook. This is the workbook. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to update the inside of my cover. I'm going to update that I have a tuck on one side and I have a wrap. So as I create, I'm going to update my worksheet. Now that I have my cover and it's glued and everything's scored in the way that I want it and my worksheet updated, I'm going to take the paper that we made, the rose and coffee, I think it was, paper that I made on the one that was done with the lunch sack and napkin. You can check that video out. Going to glue this as the front of my cover. I'm going to glue it to the file folder cover. For the inside, I'm just going to use some tea or coffee dyed old book text. I'm just going to glue it down to the cover, the inside part. Here I am just going to distress the cover a little bit, make sure my edges are glued down. I'm going to apply some paper clips there so that pocket will stay, that little tuck will stay glued. I'm just distressing all around. I'm going to add a piece of muslin canvas cloth for the closure. I'm just going to distress it a little bit. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the upcoming videos of where I create the signatures.